Here's something most advice about overthinking gets wrong. It treats your anxiety like it's irrational, like you're making problems out of nothing. But here's the truth. The world actually is unstable right now. Economic uncertainty, social upheaval, constant crisis alerts. Your brain isn't broken for noticing that. The problem is, traditional coping strategies assume you're overreacting to a stable environment. They tell you to just breathe, just think positive, just stop worrying so much. But what happens when the environment genuinely isn't safe? When the threats aren't imagined but real and ongoing? Your brain doesn't shut off its threat detection system. Instead, it doubles down. It develops specific survival tools to help you navigate uncertainty. And if you're an overthinker, you've probably developed all 9 of the behaviors we're about to discuss. But before we look at the first sign, there's one specific reason why your brain chooses these 9 behaviors over any others, and it's not what you think. In today's video, we're breaking down 9 survival mechanisms your brain uses when the world feels unreliable. These aren't tips to fix you. They're tools your mind has created to protect you. The question is, are they still serving you, or are they draining you? Thank you for supporting our mission to make psychology more accessible. Let's dive in. So with that said, here are the first 5 signs your mind is trying to create safety in an unsafe world. Number 1, the certainty scroll. You're not checking the news or social media for information anymore. You're checking to monitor if the vibe has shifted. Did something bad happen while you were asleep? Is everyone else feeling this tension too? The logic your brain is using is simple. If I stay aware of everything, I won't be blindsided. But here's what's actually happening. You're creating an illusion of preparedness through constant awareness. The problem is, knowing about a crisis doesn't mean you can prevent it. You're just keeping your nervous system in a perpetual state of alert. Number 2, productivity spikes. Have you suddenly become obsessed with organizing your closet, creating the perfect morning routine, or color-coding your bookshelf? This isn't about cleanliness or efficiency, it's about control. When the big world feels chaotic and unpredictable, your brain tries to govern a small world it can manage. Psychologists call this micro-control. You can't fix the economy or stop global conflict, but you can make sure every shirt in your drawer faces the same direction. It's your mind's way of saying, at least I can control this. Here's a real example. Someone spends 4 hours researching the absolute best air purifier, comparing filter ratings and energy efficiency, while a major global crisis is unfolding in the news. Or they suddenly decide to color code thousands of digital photos from the past decade. The crisis feels too big to solve, so the brain swaps it for a tiny, solvable problem. It's not procrastination, it's survival. I'm curious, what's your micro-control project right now? Is it organizing your closet, perfecting your morning routine, or something else entirely? Drop it in the comments. You might be surprised how many others are doing the exact same thing. Number 3, the what-if marathon. Your brain isn't just worrying, it's running full disaster simulations. What if I lose my job? What if someone I love gets sick? What if the relationship falls apart? You're mentally rehearsing crisis scenarios in vivid detail, believing that if you imagine it enough times, you'll be ready when it happens. But here's the difference between planning and exhausting simulation. Planning has an endpoint and a strategy. Simulation just loops the fear over and over, draining your mental energy without actually preparing you for anything. Here's a quick way to tell which one you're doing. Pause the next time you catch yourself in a what-if spiral and ask, do I have a specific action I can take right now? If the answer is no, your brain isn't preparing you. It's just burning fuel. Number 4, social filtering. You're overanalyzing every text, every phone call, every comment from friends or family. You're not just listening to what they're saying. You're scanning their tone for signs of worry. Are they anxious too? Do they think I'm overreacting? This is your brain seeking validation that your anxiety is normal or justified. If everyone else is worried, then your fear makes sense. If they're not, then something must be wrong with you. This is an adaptive response. Your brain is trying to calibrate what normal worry looks like. But here's the consequence. When you're constantly scanning for emotional cues instead of genuinely connecting, people start to feel it. They sense you're not really present with them. You're just using them as an anxiety barometer. And over time, that distance can push away the very people whose support you actually need. Number 5. Information hoarding. Be honest. How many save for later folders do you have right now that you've never actually opened? You're saving articles about financial planning, buying self-help books on resilience, bookmarking videos about how to survive uncertainty, but you're not actually reading or watching any of it. You're just collecting it. Why? Because having the answers nearby feels like having control. It's the comfort of knowing that if things get bad, you'll have resources. But the truth is, the information sits there unused because engaging with it would mean admitting the crisis is real. So instead, you just keep gathering more, like a mental safety blanket you never actually wrap yourself in. We've covered how you try to control the world around you, but these next 4 signs are actually much more invisible, and if you aren't looking for them, you might mistake them for a physical illness or a personality flaw. So what's the one specific reason your brain defaults to these behaviors? It's not complexity. It's not intelligence. It's this. Your brain values predictability over accuracy. When the world feels chaotic, your mind would rather run a familiar, exhausting loop than face the uncertainty of trying something new. These behaviors feel reliable because you've done them before. And reliability, even when it's draining you, feels safer than the unknown. Number 6. Body scanning. You wake up with a tight chest and immediately think, is this a heart problem? Your shoulders are tense, your stomach feels off, and you're exhausted even after sleeping. But here's what's actually happening. You're mistaking the physical sensation of chronic stress for sudden illness. When the world feels unstable, your nervous system stays activated. That activation shows up in your body as tension, fatigue, and discomfort. It's not a new health crisis. It's your body carrying the weight of constant vigilance. Picture this. It's 3 a.m. and you wake up with a racing heart. You immediately grab your phone and start Googling chest pain symptoms, convinced something is medically wrong. Later, you realize you got a news alert before bed about another crisis. Your body wasn't warning you about a heart attack. It was reacting to a threat your conscious mind had already moved past. The problem is, when you interpret these sensations as illness, you add another layer of worry on top of the stress that caused them in the first place. Number 7. Financial hyperfixation. You're checking your bank balance multiple times a day, even though nothing has changed. You're comparing prices obsessively, catastrophizing about money even when your finances are actually stable. Why does this happen? Because money feels like the most tangible representation of safety. You can't control global events, but you can see the exact number in your account. It gives you something concrete to focus on. And here's what that moment feels like. You open the app, see the balance is okay, and there's this brief exhale of relief. Maybe 2 seconds of, okay, I'm fine. But then the anxiety creeps back in within minutes, and you're already thinking about the next expense, the next bill, the next threat. The irony is that this hyper-focus doesn't make you more financially secure. It just keeps your brain locked in scarcity mode, where every small expense feels like a threat to your survival. Quick question. How many save-for-later folders, bookmarked articles, or unread self-help books do you have right now? Just be honest with yourself. If the number feels ridiculous, you're not alone, and you're not doing it wrong. You're just doing what your brain thinks will keep you safe. Number 8. The nostalgia escape. You're rewatching the same shows you've seen 100 times. You're listening to music from high school on repeat. You're scrolling through old photos from years ago. Maybe you've watched The Office or Friends all the way through 3 times this year. Or you find yourself exclusively listening to the music you loved at age 17 whenever you're stressed. This isn't just comfort. It's your brain's attempt to return to a time that felt predictable. When the present feels uncertain and the future feels overwhelming, the past becomes the only place that feels safe. You already know how those episodes end. You already know what happened in those photos. There are no surprises, no new threats. It's a mental retreat to a world where the outcomes were guaranteed. What's your safe show or album? The one you return to when the world feels overwhelming? Share it in the comments. Let's create a list of comfort media for anyone who needs it right now. This final sign is perhaps the most suffocating one of all. It's the reason why you might feel like a bad person for even trying to be happy right now. Number 9. Moral paralysis. You feel guilty for laughing at a joke. You feel selfish for taking a day off. You feel wrong for experiencing any kind of joy or normalcy when the world feels like it's suffering. This is misplaced empathy, the belief that you must personally solve or absorb global pain. Your brain has convinced you that feeling good is a betrayal of everyone who's struggling. But here's the truth. Your suffering doesn't reduce anyone else's. Your guilt doesn't fix the world's problems. And joy isn't selfish. It's fuel. If you want to show up for the people and causes you care about, you need rest. You need moments of lightness. You need to refill your own reserves. Carrying global suffering on your shoulders doesn't make you noble. It just makes you empty. And you can't pour from an empty cup. Before we wrap up, I want to ask, which of these 9 signs hit you the hardest? Was it the body scanning, the moral paralysis, the certainty scroll, or something else? Just drop the number in the comments. It helps us understand what resonates most with this community. Here's the key insight. These 9 behaviors aren't separate issues. They're all branches of the same root. Your nervous system is stuck in scan for danger mode. When the environment feels unreliable, your brain's threat detection system goes into overdrive. It's not a personal failing. It's not weakness. It's what brains do when they don't feel safe. You can't control the world, but you can signal safety. Remember what we said at the start? The world actually is unstable right now. Your brain isn't wrong for noticing that. But here's what you can control: the signals you send to your own nervous system. So here's one micro habit you can try right now. It's called the 5-4-3-2-1 grounding technique, and it takes about 2 minutes. When you catch yourself in one of those 9 loops, pause and do this. Name 5 things you can see around you, 4 things you can physically touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, 1 thing you can taste. That's it. Remember those mental safety blankets we talked about earlier? The bookmarked articles and saved resources you never actually use? This is different. You're not collecting information for false comfort. You're physically signaling to your nervous system, right now, in this moment, I'm safe. Do that once a day, and you're giving your brain permission to step out of crisis mode, even if just for a few minutes. If these signs feel familiar and the loops feel exhausting, consider reaching out for professional support. Therapy can help recalibrate that threat detection system so it's not running at full speed all the time. If this video helped you feel a little less broken and a little more understood, hit the like button. It helps us reach more overthinkers who might be struggling in silence right now. And don't forget to subscribe for more content that treats your brain with the respect it deserves. As always, thanks for watching.